What is the worst piece of advice that anyone can give a songwriter who's focused on getting their music into TV shows, films, and commercials? We're going to talk about that today. And I want to preface this by letting you know if your goal is to write music for major label artists and get your songs on the radio and have them become #1 hits, I am not the guy to listen to. I've never done that. However, if your goal is to get your music on TV shows, films, and commercials, then what I'm going to share with you today is absolutely 100% relevant to you. Now, what is that one key piece of advice that was 100% wrong? Don't bore us, get to the chorus. How many times have you heard that phrase? When I hear the phrase, don't bore us, get to the chorus, I have to roll my eyes. This is a great rhyme scheme for a meme. And that's really what it was, right? In fact, that rhyme that I just made up was intentional. Isn't this a lot of fun? I'll do another one. They're just stupid rhymes that when you really dissect the meaning behind them, they don't really mean what they're intended to. Now, the idea of don't bore us, get to the chorus, the intent of it originally was really write a great chorus. That's really the intent. But when you focus on that line so much, so specific to those words, it's terrible advice. In fact, this is the worst piece of songwriting advice that anyone can give and that any musician can follow. And let me tell you why. Because the words that we say are important. When we say don't bore us, get to the chorus, we're basically stating that the intro is insignificant. Doesn't matter. Let's just burn through that thing. Let's just get to that chorus. Come on, hurry up. It states that the verse is insignificant. Hey, who cares? No. Let's just do 3 or 4 lines. Let's do it. We got to get to the chorus. It states that the pre-chorus is insignificant, right? Everything is insignificant. It's boring. Let's just get to the chorus. Let's just get to that payoff. That's what it states. The only significant and relevant element to any song is the chorus. That, to me, is 100% garbage. Now, I don't know about you, but when I listen to music, I enjoy the musical intros. I enjoy what's being told, the emotion that's being laid out, all the groundwork to the story that's being laid out in the verses. I enjoy the rise of a pre-chorus into a chorus. I think it's fair to say that most of us actually enjoy the full experience of a song. Now, also, I'm a guitar player, and I grew up listening to music that was, a little bit more guitar-oriented. But I also liked listening to music that required a lot of instrumental prowess, not only on guitar, but from various other instrumentalists in the band. And my very first concert that I ever saw was a band called Rush. I saw them on the Presto tour. And I think that we can all agree on the fact that Rush's most prominent song in their catalog, Love 'Em or Hate 'Em, it's irrelevant, the most prominent song in their catalog that everybody knows is a song called Tom Sawyer. Now, I challenge you to tell me what the chorus to Tom Sawyer is. I've studied this song a lot over the years. I've played it many, many times. There really is no chorus to Tom Sawyer. In fact, we could argue that there are 2 sections in that song that could be choruses, but the reality is that each time you hear them, they have different lyrics. So are they really a chorus? Or are they just really great melodic pieces with great hooks that are put together, make up a great song? Now, this is just one example, but I'm using this example to exemplify the fact that we can say that Tom Sawyer was really the song that put Rush on the map. They have a lot of great songs in their catalog, but the song that everyone knows from Rush is a song that actually does not have a defined chorus. And here's the truth when it comes to sync licensing. Every single section of your song is important. Every section of your song has value, and every section of your song can generate a sync placement. Now, we hear this phrase in real estate. We hear location, location, location. If you're into investing and whatnot, then you know that the term is diversify, diversify, diversify. You don't want to put all your money into Starbucks stock. What happens if Starbucks, has a problem tomorrow? You lose all your money. So you want to diversify. Well, in songwriting, it's rewrite, rewrite, rewrite. So if your intro is boring, rewrite it. It's very simple. Make it interesting. If your verse is, it is what it is, then rewrite it. If your pre-chorus is something that you just shrug off, rewrite it. Every section of your song has value. Every section of your song can generate sync placements. Now think of it like this. Think of a roller coaster. Of course, that big loop, in the roller coaster, that's like the chorus, right? That's like the big payoff. But there's excitement and anticipation that leads up to that first big loop. Now, if you're afraid of heights and you're on that roller coaster and you're going up, before the first big drop and it's just taking you up, chug, 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 taking you up that big hill, as you get higher and higher and higher, oh my gosh, you can't wait to get over the crest of that hill just so you aren't as high, right? You're anticipating just the drop because you want to go back down to earth. But, if you're afraid of speed and whatnot, you're anticipating that drop because, maybe you like going slow. And so maybe you're a little nervous about that first drop. And suddenly, you go from a couple miles an hour up to 70 miles an hour and you're dropping 100 feet or whatnot. There's still anticipation that leads up to that. And then you hit that first loop. And there's a little bit of relief and it's fun, right? And then maybe you go through a corkscrew or two and some sudden turns. And then there's that second loop. And that experience that we have leading up to that second loop, the corkscrews, the sudden turns and the drops and stuff like that, that's fun. That's what creates an experience for us on that roller coaster. But without all the other stuff in between, loops just become boring. Now, I remember those carnivals that would show up, every couple months in the parking lot of the local grocery store. And, they literally set up overnight. I'm sure you're familiar with them as well. And one of the rides that they had was just a loop. You could get on it. And, when you're 9, this is fun. They strap you in, and basically for a minute and a half, they just send you around a loop. A couple years later, once you get a little older, say you're 19, that's not that fun anymore. Right? After the first 20 seconds, it actually becomes pretty boring. Because what makes a ride fun is everything in between. That's what makes music fun. And hopefully you're seeing why this piece of advice when it comes to sync licensing is really a terrible piece of advice. Now, I said that this was going to ruffle some feathers, and I know it will. But, believe me when I'm telling you this, that every single section of your song can generate a placement for you. Your intro can generate a placement for you this week. Your verse can generate a placement for you next week, your pre-chorus the week after, etc. Right? And you can do this multiple times, really an infinite amount of times for every song that you write. So if you're just throwing away all of the other elements of your song just to get to the chorus, you're losing out on all those other placements of just your intro here, your verse here, your pre-chorus here. So don't be afraid to reevaluate and rewrite the various sections of your songs so that they're not boring. It's important to keep in mind how our end users utilize our music in the shows and films and commercials that they're working on. And more than anything, out of this lesson today, what I want you to walk away with is the simple fact that every single section of your song has value. It has tremendous value when you're marrying those sections of your song to moving picture in the form of a sync license. All right. I hope this has been inspiring for you. I know I might get a couple hate letters from this one, but that's okay. I stand behind it 100%. Again, I'm going to wrap this up with the same thing I said at the beginning. If your goal is to write songs for radio and get songs out to, big A-list artists, I am not the person to listen to. I have not done that in my career. But if your goal is to get your songs placed on TV shows, films, and commercials, video games, movie trailers, etc., what I'm telling you today is 100% accurate. I encourage you to absorb it and utilize it in your own career. And when you're sitting down to do some writing sessions with your co-writers, get that whole "don't bore us, get to the chorus" phrase out of your mind. Every single section of your song has tremendous value and relevance. All right. We'll chat with you later. If you're interested in getting your songs into your favorite films, TV shows, commercials, trailers, and video games, you're going to want to check out the free guide below.